Here is the political reality that we have seen throughout this campaign. If there is a large voter turnout tomorrow, we'll win. If there is a low voter turnout, we'll lose. Let's make sure there is a large voter turnout. We began this campaign some 10 months ago, and when we began, all of the media experts and all of the pundits said, "Bernie, you're a nice guy. You comb your hair beautifully. You're a GQ kind of guy. But really, your campaign is a fringe candidacy. You can't win." Well, 11 months, 10 months have come and gone. When we began, we were 3% in the polls, 70 points behind Hillary Clinton. Yesterday, a national poll came out. We're 1 point up. We have now won 11 states. And if there are large turnouts tomorrow in Washington, Hawaii, and Alaska, we have a shot to win 3 more. And I believe that if we win here in Washington, we're going to win in California. We are going to win in Oregon, and we've got a real path toward victory to the White House. And let me also say that if we win the Democratic nomination, we are going to win the general election. Poll after poll shows us that in matchups with Donald Trump, don't worry, Trump will not become president. A recent CNN poll, consistent with many other polls, showed Hillary Clinton doing very well against Trump. She was beating him by 12 points. We were beating him by 20 points. She was tied up with Ted Cruz. We were beating him by 13 points. She was losing to John Kasich. We were beating him by 6 points. So don't let anybody tell you that Hillary Clinton is the strongest Democratic candidate to take on the Republicans. It is not true. But it is not just polls. Democrats and progressives will win when there is a large voter turnout. Republicans win when people become demoralized and don't come out to vote. It is our campaign, as you can see here tonight. It is our campaign that is creating the incitement and the enthusiasm which will result in a huge voter turnout in November. Let me just say for a moment a few of the very important differences between Secretary Clinton and myself. And one of them has to do with how you raise money for a campaign. When we began this campaign, we had to make a very simple decision, and that decision was, should we do what every other campaign does and start a super PAC? We agreed with you. We didn't want a super PAC. We don't need a super PAC. We don't represent Wall Street, corporate America, or the billionaire class. So we did it a different way, different than any other campaign. We went to the working families and the middle class of this country, and what we said is, if you want a candidate who is prepared to take on big money interests, protect and expand the middle class of this country, help us out. And what happened was unbelievable. Up to this point, we have now received almost 6 million individual campaign contributions. More contributions than any campaign in the history of the United States of America. Anybody here know what the average contribution is? $27. To paraphrase Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, this is a campaign of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, Secretary Clinton did it in a slightly different way. She established several super PACs, and our largest super PAC recently reported raising $25 million in special interest money, including $15 million from Wall Street. In addition, as many of you know, Secretary Clinton has given speeches behind closed doors to large Wall Street financial institutions for $225,000 a speech. Now, I kind of think that if somebody's going to pay you $225,000 for a speech, it must be a mind-blowing, brilliant, earth-shattering speech. It must be written in Shakespearean prose. It must be a speech that will uplift the entire world. Therefore, I think the Secretary should release the transcripts of that speech. Now, Secretary Clinton says she is prepared to release the transcripts if other people, other candidates, release their transcripts. So tonight, here in this beautiful baseball field, I am prepared to make a dramatic announcement. Are you ready? Tonight, in the beautiful city of Seattle, I am announcing that I will release all of the transcripts of my speeches to Wall Street. Are you ready? Here they are. Shh. There aren't any, no speeches. Now, I can't understand, I just can't understand why Secretary Clinton gets $225,000 and I can't even get a damn invitation to speak to Wall Street. I don't know why. Forget 225. What about 20,000, 2,000, 18 bucks? Can't get it. And maybe it has something to do with the fact that Wall Street would not be interested in hearing what I had to say. So my cell phone is on. I am waiting the call from Wall Street. If I get that call and if I get that invitation, this is what I will tell them. I will tell them that their greed and recklessness and illegal behavior drove this country into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression of the 1930s. I will tell them that the middle class of this country bailed them out because their banks were too big to fail, but today 3 out of the 4 largest banks are bigger than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. And I will tell them that when a handful of financial institutions has so much economic and political power, it is time to A, reestablish Glass-Steagall legislation, and B, it is time to break them up. We need a financial institution in this country which provides affordable loans to small and medium-sized businesses and to the working families of this country, not financial institutions that exist as an island unto themselves, worried only about their profits. Now, this campaign is doing well because we are listening to the American people and not just wealthy campaign contributors. We are listening to working people who tell me they can't make it on $8 or $9 an hour. And I want to congratulate the City Council of Seattle, the people of Seattle, for doing the right thing and leading this country to what we've got to do nationally, 15 bucks an hour for every worker in America. This campaign is listening to senior citizens and disabled veterans. And they are telling me they cannot make it on $11,000 or $12,000 a year Social Security. Republicans want to cut Social Security. Instead, we have got some bad news for them. We're not going to cut Social Security. We're going to raise Social Security benefits. This campaign is doing well because we are telling the American people the truth. And the truth is that today we have a campaign finance system which is corrupt, a system which is undermining American democracy. And that is why, together, we are going to overturn Citizens United. And why we are going to move to public funding of elections. Now, this is serious business, because when you have the Koch brothers and a handful of billionaires spending hundreds of millions of dollars to elect candidates who represent the wealthy and the powerful. That is not democracy. That is oligarchy. We will not accept that. And this campaign is exposing the reality that today we are living in a rigged economy. Millions of Americans are working longer hours for lower wages, yet almost all new income and wealth goes to the top 1%. America must not be a country in which the top 0.1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. We must not be an economy where the 20 wealthiest people own more wealth than the bottom 150 million Americans. We are not going to be an economy where the Walton family of Walmart owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. Together, we are going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. But it is not just a corrupt campaign finance system. It is not just a rigged economy. It is a broken criminal justice system. I am tired, you are tired, of seeing videos on television of unarmed Americans being shot and killed by police. Now, I'm a former mayor. I have worked with police officers and police departments all over my state, all over this country. Vast majority of police officers are honest, hardworking, doing a very difficult job. But like any other public official, if an officer breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable.